Oh, this, and somewhat rambling, somewhat stuff. Ignore this. It's just little fishies. Um, I'm just gonna do some rambling and talking. First of all, I found three 64-bit programs. Yeah, I'm actually in 32-bit mode, but the first one was this little uh, Acme reader, which is actually a fun little thing, but it's actually supported under 64-bit, and this thing is pretty old. That also makes it even a little bit more weirder because, according to Mr. Bit, I shouldn't even be existing, but I know as well as anyone else that Apple put out those seeds a long time ago, and any excuse that Adobe has right now has fallen straight out the fucking window for me. Seriously. The other one is Candy Bar. I didn't really, but icon rearranging shit. But yeah, they went 64-bit. Even though in the description under repairs they said it supports 64-bit for some reason. Icon Factory, what the fuck was that about? For some reason. And the last one I even found surprising. CyberDuck is 64-bit. I didn't even know that. But the main reason why I wanted to make this video was also to talk about one of Apple's little fuck-ups. And, why no one hasn't even talked about it. One of the main problems with Apple is quite basically, it's not really the snow leopard or the whole snow leopard crap thing that they keep saying. What really pisses me off on Snow Leopard is quite basically they fucked up in the area of making it an upgrade more like. Now, it's a full installed disk, that is well true, and you can format it. And they should have treated it like that because this is technically should be treated as a full install CD. I don't know why they didn't do that. I mean, but it should have been treated as a complete full reinstall because the kernel has been rewritten from the ground up and the Finder has been rewritten, and everyone's like, well, Apple's big talk was that they were 64-bit, 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 64-bit. No, that wasn't the only thing that they kept talking about. They also talked about rewriting the Finder from the original Carbon because Carbon was getting old and it was starting to show its age. And no, Carbon isn't deleted from Apple. In fact, Carbon runs in the background still. I've got plenty of Carbon applications that still work. And I even rebooted my computer to 64-bit and they worked under there. No real difference at all. I did find this a little weird, even though I'm under 32-bit. iStat is not supported under the 64-bit menu, but yet it worked under the 64-bit, which shouldn't have even happened. And yet DivX is still telling me that I need to switch to the 32-bit to open its preference pane, which kind of odd. But until they come up with an update, as well as Flip for Macs and Growl. But, Growl is still working, and I can still see messages popping up here and there under the 64-bit. I do know there is a hard problem, and it does take more memory under 64-bit, but I'm still generally confused on half of this conversation. I mean, if it works, it works. I mean, what else is there to be said? But Apple has said it over and over and over again under their Apple website that they rewrote the kernel, they rewrote the operating system, they did everything. So they could change the top menu bar because it didn't make any sense. And Grand Central is now open source, and you will not believe how many. OpenGL is not really Apple's baby, but it may actually have been more NVIDIA's child. CUDA. I don't know why NVIDIA did this. I haven't really played with iChat. I don't know why the DVD player is still in 32-bit. But and Mail has a spam filter now, which everybody kept asking for. And yet, I'm still seeing people up there saying, well, it needs more features, more features, more features. Well, I seem to recall, Mr. Bit, you telling that Apple needs to put up less features. And now that there's an operating system with less features, you're now saying Apple needs to put in more features. I mean, what the fuck is it? Seriously. I mean, does Apple need more or less? I mean, you are literally the most unsatisfying person I could ever have met. I mean, you say Apple needs less, Apple finally goes with less. Now you're saying it needs more. I'm confused. Seriously confused. I agree with, I do know that there is a problem between 64 and 32-bit, which can be slowly resolved in time. But to say something that contradicts yourself, it just doesn't make any sense. And most of these people were people running around saying Apple needs less, and then Apple comes up with less, and now you're saying Apple needs more, Apple needs more. You can't do that, okay? You're contradicting yourself in every ounce of your fucking word. You have no idea what you're talking about. Apple fucked up when they made the Leopard CD into a complete install. I will say that hands down that Apple fucked up there. And they should have made it more pointed towards being a clean install operating system, because everything was rewritten from the ground up. But I mean, especially the kernel, Darwin, and all that shit, and Aquatica, I mean the Finder, everything was written from the ground up again. And it's written in Cocoa now, and that's why you're having less. That's why you have more memory in your hard drive, because, you know, it's more native. It works more right with the hardware and the software. But, you know, I guess there's no pleasing those. Makes no fucking sense.